Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. وقال الله تعالى أيضا: يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الكتاب كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. My respected brothers and sisters, all praises are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we seek refuge in Him from the evils of our own souls and darkness of our own deeds. Whosoever is guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no one can misguide him, and whosoever is declared misguided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no one can guide him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us to be witnesses, to bear witness that there is no creator, there is no deity, and there is none worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we bear witness that there is no Lord, there is no creator except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the only one who is worthy of worship and He has no partners. And we bear witness that Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His final messenger and His servant. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has reminded us, O you who believe, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as He ought to be feared and do not die except in a state of complete submission. Do not die except in a state of complete submission. That is the commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he has reminded us as humanity, as mankind, as whole, that, O mankind, be mindful of your duties to your Lord, the one who has created you from single soul. And from that single soul he has created his soulmate, and from those two he has created many men and women. And be mindful of your duties to your Lord, through whose name you seek the rights of one another and maintain the relationship of kin. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watcher over all things. And he has reminded us, O you who believe, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as he ought to be feared, and speak the word of truth. He will correct your deeds, he will forgive your shortcomings. And whosoever obeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his messenger has indeed achieved a great success. My respected brothers and sisters, the most truthful book is the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the most perfect and the best of the guidance is the guidance of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Any path which deviates from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the guidance of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a deviated path that goes astray, and all such astray paths ends up into hellfire. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us stick to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the guidance and the character of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My respected brothers and sisters, first I would like to deliver a good news, and then I will share something which is very important. That is a bad news, and that requires our attention and our participation and our concern and our contributions. The first good news is we are seeing a lot of negativity about Islam, yet there are many brothers and sisters when they spend their time in the darkness of night. And subhanallah, there are so many fitnas are there, yet these young and old brothers and sisters, they're spending their time in seeking and searching for truth. And when they come to learn about Islam, their heart melts. They recognize that this is the path of truth. And then they call and then discuss and they ask questions. And subhanallah, such thing just happened just before I was leaving for masjid. Only 10 minutes before I was leaving for masjid, a sister from Texas, she called, Sister Felicia, and she declared her shahada. And before that, at 12:30, another sister, she declared shahada at our own masjid. So we should all feel good that alhamdulillah, our deen is the deen of truth. This is the good news. The people, when they recognize the blessing, the truth, they are coming to Islam, and we should all feel good about it. Now, let me share something which is very concerning. I'm pretty sure that most of us have heard about what is happening on the other side of the world, in a country called Burma or Myanmar. I'm pretty sure we have learned about the plight of hundreds of thousands of our brothers and sisters in Burma. I'm pretty sure we have seen the images of boatloads of people. We have seen the dead bodies floating on the surface of water. And we are seeing the women and the children crying. We are seeing the thin and malnourished male populations. My respected brothers and sisters, this is a point of great concern. This should sadden us. And it is not just one or two individuals. We are talking about genocide of the entire Muslim population. There are some responsibilities which are on our shoulders. Is this the first time this thing happening? No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has reminded us in Surah Al-Buruj. There was a time when there was a group of people and they believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they said, La ilaha illallah. They said, La ilaha illallah, there is no God, there is no deity, there is no creator, none worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the kuffar and the pagans and the mushrikeen of the time, they did not like. It was none of their business. It was a matter of heart and faith. Yet they could not bear it. They could not bear that some people are believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they chose to punish them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has described them in Surah Al-Buruj. قُتِلَ أَصْحَابُ الْأُخْدُودِ النَّارِ ذَاتِ الْوَقُودِ إِذْ هُمْ عَلَيْهَا قُعُودٌ وَهُمْ عَلَى مَا يَفْعَلُونَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ شُهُودٌ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is cursing those persecutors, as those people have gathered the helpless Muslim population, men, women, and children. And they had dug out the trenches. And in those trenches, they were not simply chopping off the head and pushing the bodies into trenches. They had actually lit the fire in those trenches. And they were sitting by the edges of the fire. And they were grabbing those helpless believers. They're bringing them in droves, men, women, and children, and they were pushing them into the live fire. قُتِلَ أَصْحَابُ الْأُخْدُودِ النَّارِ ذَاتِ الْوَقُودِ إِذْ هُمْ عَلَيْهَا قُعُودٌ. And they were sitting by the trenches. وَهُمْ عَلَى مَا يَفْعَلُونَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ شُهُودٌ. And they were witnessing and watching that was being done to the believers. And today's scenario and situation is no different. No different. We have heard the news that the group of Muslims, Rohingya Muslims in Burma, they are being grabbed and they are being thrown alive in fire. My respected brothers and sisters, that should sadden us. That should really concern us. Prophet ﷺ has described the entire Ummah. And we have heard and learned about this hadith many times, that the entire Ummah is like one body. If one part of the body hurts, the other part of the body cannot feel rest. The entire body feels the pain. My question to all my brothers and sisters is, are we feeling the pain? Are we feeling the pain? And if not, then we have to question our iman. We have to ask ourselves, am I a true follower of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Because these are the words of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the entire body is like, entire ummah is like one single body. And other thing is that this is something should be a warning to all of us. These things did not happen in vacuum. These things did not happen overnight. If I remember correctly, one of the Indian scholars, and if I remember his name correctly, Maulana Islahi, he had delivered a khutbah in 1962 in Rangoon, and he had mentioned to the Burmese Muslims that, mashallah, the Burmese Muslims are educated. They are well off, they're rich, and they're wealthy, and they are good businessmen. They have good places to live, but something was lacking. Something was lacking. Their engagement with the society around them. They built the big mansions, lots of wealth they were blessed with, but it was an unfortunate reality that sometimes we neglect our responsibilities towards others. Sometimes we fail to shield and protect and build the shields around our iman and our deen. They failed to engage effectively in the society around them. There was very little representation or presentation in civic engagements. When there was a need, when other peoples were suffering, perhaps there was a lack of participation. When other injustices were being committed, perhaps there was lack of participation. Perhaps there was no desire to take part into the running of the government. There was no representation in military or police or in other government institutions. This is something should be concerning to us. And Maulana Islahi had warned about that fact, that this is going to come back to haunt you and bite you so badly. And today, the Rohingya in great numbers, total 1.3 million were there. They were stripped off of their citizenship. They cannot live in the land in which they have lived through generations. The satellite imagery clearly shows that hundreds of kilometers of the Rohingya villages have been burned out. The pictures have been taken before and after, hundreds of kilometers. Today the situation is they cannot even go. Even if they choose to leave the area and go somewhere else, they cannot even go. Bangladesh has shut down their borders. Nobody is ready to take them. One of the stories which came out, Sister Aisha, her husband was killed. Rohingya Muslims are not allowed to work. They are not provided any facility, no schooling. They are not allowed to do any trade. They are not allowed to interact with the society. They are kept in big concentration camps, very much similar to what Nazi concentration camps were. And when the men go out, the only option they have is they go out in jungle to find some provisions, some food, whatever they can gather. Even if today you donate millions of dollars for relief, there is nothing getting in there. There is no way this relief is getting into the hands of these needy people. It is an unfortunate reality. It is an unfortunate reality. Your wealth is not going to be of great help today. When these men go out and they're seeking the provision, often they come under the attack of the militias and the government forces. And some of them get injured and some of them, they lose their lives. And Sister Aisha's husband, he lost his life. When they were forced to leave and their boat just reached Bangladesh, Bangladesh forces turned their boats around, pushed them back into the ocean. Now who is going to accept them? Thailand? Can they go back to Burma? Or they are going to live on the surface of ocean? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect our brothers and sisters. Another incident I can share, and I will not share the name of the sister. When she was interviewed and she was crying and crying and crying, and her body was malnourished, and she was telling the brother that when I was taken captive, there were so many rapes are going on, and every day when the sun went down, my heart and soul was crying because I knew that with darkness will come the animals, and they will ruin my body. They will devour my soul. I cannot live like that. And when she got an opportunity, she was begging a passerby when she got an opportunity through a window that I have nothing to offer, not even my body. But if you free me, Allah will give you Jannah. Allah will give you Jannah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked us, and what has wrong with you? وَمَا لَكُمْ لَا تُقَاتِلُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَالْمُسْتَضْعَفِينَ مِنَ الرِّجَالِ وَالنِّسَاءِ وَالْوِلْدَانِ الَّذِينَ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا أَخْرِجْنَا مِنْ هَذِهِ الْقَرْيَةِ ظَالِمِ أَهْلِهَا وَاجْعَل لَّنَا مِن لَّدُنكَ وَلِيًّا وَاجْعَل لَّنَا مِن لَّدُنكَ نَصِيرًا. And the translation is, how could you refuse to fight and struggle in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And for those who are utterly helpless, men and women and children who are crying, "O our Lord, lead us forth to the freedom out of this land where people are oppressors, and raise for us out of thy grace a protector and helper." My respected brothers and sisters, this is our responsibility to be helper and protector. There are few action items. I would highly encourage you, every one of you, to log on to burmamuslims.org or look for Burma Task Force. There are few action items. You can pick up a flyer, it is outside. And inshallah, let's carry out whatever we can do within the legal framework. We can call our State Department, we can call our senators, and we can call the ambassadors of US ambassador to Burma, we can call United Nations. Let's do our part. And inshallah, next Saturday, there is a rally. I'm hoping and begging and encouraging every one of you to be part of that rally. Let's show that rally in front of the United Nations, and inshallah, that way, at least to some extent, we'll be able to show our solidarity, our concern. And if you do not feel that pain, I can only ask, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon all of us. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات فاستغفروه إنه الغفور الرحيم. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulil Ameen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect our children. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect our brothers and sisters in Syria, in Burma, in Kashmir, in India, and other places where they are being oppressed. Subhanallah, we are great in numbers, but we are so helpless and so weak. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the courage, and may Allah strengthen our iman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has described the status of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam when he said that Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim fil alameen innaka hamidun majid. Allahumma ighfir lil mu'minina wal mu'minat wal muslimina wal muslimat الأحياء منهم الأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداءك وأعداءنا وأعداء الدين. اللهم انصر المجاهدين في كل مكان يا رب العالمين. اللهم انصر المؤمنين في بورما يا رب العالمين. اللهم انصر المجاهدين في كل مكان يا رب العالمين. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. عباد الله رحمكم الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم والله يستجب لكم ولذكر الله تعالى أهم وأكبر. أقيموا الصلاة.